Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Andrew. I'm your guide in this video series to help real estate investors organize their portfolio using QuickBooks. Today we're going to pick up where we left off in part 12A. This will be part 12B of our series, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about the detailed settings when you are creating a vendor. So part 12A was address info, which is where I'm starting here in this window. If you haven't seen part 12A and you want address help, then I suggest going there. So let's jump into it. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to back out to show you how I got there. I'm going to the Vendor Center, which is under Vendors and Vendor Center, or with the Vendors quick access in the toolbar. I've used Control E to change my vendor, which stands for edit, and I've done my address info. So now I'm going to go to the payment settings tab on the left hand side. If you're working in 12 and 11, I'm not sure about 10, but I think this is similar. It may be on the top. I haven't used those versions in a while, so but you will have something similar to this. I don't know. I'm not quite sure if it's in payment settings or not. I'll check on that at the end of this video to make sure. You know what? I'll do it right now. I'll load up QuickBooks. I have 2011 as well, so I'm going to load that up while I'm talking. So payment settings. Okay, what does this mean? Well, this is a place where you can add an account number should you wish to have your vendors categorized that way. Most people don't do this. I don't know if it's really relevant or not for a real estate investor. Sometimes I like to do account numbers for my customers because there might be some communication back and forth, and it's helpful to have a customer number. But really, for the average real estate investor, you don't need this for vendors. The time to use it would be if you're creating purchase orders, or if you're doing a lot of buying from one particular vendor, or actually multiple vendors. It might be useful to have an account number. So for now, I'm going to say you don't need this as a real estate investor. Payment terms are something that vendors will give you. So they could say, hey, here's an invoice, I'm net 30. This is generally found on a bill you receive from them. So if you put this in, then QuickBooks will automatically choose the or calculate the due date for you. So if you get a bill from a vendor and you enter that bill into QuickBooks, if you have payment terms set up, then QuickBooks will calculate the due date, and you don't have to worry about entering that in. I mentioned in part 12A that about the difference between company name and vendor name, and I realized that there is another place for the company name to be printed on the check. So this address info company name here is used in all correspondence except for when you write a check. The vendor name is actually used on the check. So if you're a person who handwrites your checks, it's okay to have a vendor name that's an abbreviation, such as DCH. But if you're going to be printing your checks out of QuickBooks and you want to have a nickname up here in the vendor name, then you need to have a print name on check. Print name on check as field. Does that make sense? I hope that was clear. So the vendor name is for you, but when you write a check, let's just change this real quick. I'll show you what I mean. So if I go to write check, there's DCH, right? But look, print as Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. That's because in my vendor details, I've chosen that I want to print this name on check as Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. But if I get rid of that, and I go back to my check, I gotta refresh that window, and I say DCH, look, it's not there. So that's important if you're going to be using these abbreviations. So, okay. Another way you could do this is if you've got a contractor that wants their wife to be paid, or if you've got somebody else who the check should be written to, but it's going to the same company address, then you can always change that with this print name on check as. So I'm going to leave that there. I like that. That's fine. But if you don't, that's okay too. Credit limit and billing rate level for most real estate investors doesn't really matter. I'm not going to address those here. If you've got an issue with these, leave me a comment and I will make a video about it. So that's it for payment settings. Let me see here. I promised you I would check on the tabs in an older version of QuickBooks. So I've got another QuickBooks file pulled up, which I'm not going to show you because it's a client file. But I will see what the vendor edit window looks like. Just bear with me for a second. So this is going to be 12B, and I will do C, D, and E, I think, for these other tabs. Make sure you like the video and tell me how I'm doing. You can always send me an email with any question that you might have about accounting or QuickBooks, and I can do a video about it. And if you like me that much, you can subscribe, but I don't know if you want to do that. Okay, so vendors. Alright, so yes, it's different. So if you're in 2012 and 11, your tabs are going to be on the top. And you're going to have address info, and then you're going to have additional info, and then you're going to have account prefill. So it looks like additional info in 2011 and 12. Again, I'm not sure about 10. Payment settings. You don't have a... Yes, you do have a tax. So payment settings, tax settings, and additional info are all found under the additional info tab in 2012 and in 2011 versions. But in 2013, Intuit has decided to segregate these and separate them out into their own tabs. So payment settings, tax settings, and additional info are all under one tab in the older versions of QuickBooks, and that tab name is additional info. Account settings is the same as account prefill in 12 and older. Okay, so that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.